proceedings are due to commence shortly. We kindly request that you switch your mobile phones to silent mode and ensure an uninterrupted program. The presence of so many distinguished legal minds under one roof is truly inspiring. And we thank you for gracing this evening with your presence. As you all well know, that no event is possible without generous patronage. And we do thank our sponsors for their patronage of this event. And we shall now see what our sponsors have to say.
I've lived in cities all over the world, but something always brings me back to my homeland, Sri Lanka. At Thunmula Handia, something extraordinary rises. Twin towers soaring 40 stories into the sky. Not just another address, it's the address in Colombo. A location unlike any other, at the heart of the city. The only address bordering Colombo 3, 4, and 5, and elite Colombo 7. Right where the city lives, breathes, and connects. Just a short walk to the best schools in the country. Royal College, Ladies College, Visakha, City Marvel, and renowned international schools. A neighborhood designed for families and built for the future. Hospitals, star hotels, supermarkets, sports, and leisure clubs, all within minutes. This is urban convenience, elevated. I've stayed in many places, but this is the first time I felt like I arrived. Stone, light, and texture, designed to impress. A lounge space for meaningful conversations, warmed by golden light. Sri Lanka's first cantilevered sky pool, floating above the city, where water meets sky. This isn't just luxury, it's elevation. Dining in the clouds, a 5-star floating restaurant, 360 degrees open to the sky, above the 27th floor, where the view never ends. It's more than just what you imagine up here. It's the view, the moment, the feeling. Over 40 star-class amenities, including Sri Lanka's first paddle court, a gym that energizes, a spa that quiets the world, even a vibrant kids club. Each space is designed to elevate luxury living. 2 dedicated parking spaces, because true luxury is thoughtful. 2, 3, and 4 bedroom apartments, each one crafted with intention, spacious, serene, and built for the life you deserve. And for those who want more, we offer the premium collection, penthouses and sky mansions, introduced for the first time in Sri Lanka. Designed with confidence, one of a kind. I came looking for a place to live. I found a place to belong. Come experience it for yourself. Pentara Residencies, Thunmula Handia, the address in Colombo. A project by Homelands, Sri Lanka's #1 and most trusted real estate partner.
I can still remember when Tati made the house bigger for us.
I too played my role in the growth of our town.
I never thought my first job would take me so far.
It's amazing how our bridge just transformed this area.
Our little school got world-class cricket equipment and training.
We are rehabilitating this reef to protect Sri Lanka's heritage and the world's ecosystem.
Tati, I'm calling you from the 40th floor. And we're going higher, much, much higher.
Binding our stories together, past, present, and future. The Tokyo Cement Group.
The reason why LOLC embarked into a multi-geographical strategy was mainly due to risk diversification and to broad base our customer base. In these countries, we find the SME market is huge, especially countries where we have a large population, where the SME sector has not been serviced. If you take the African continent, they have the highest growth rate in the world and the highest requirement, the highest need for microfinance. So that's where we are. Our key strength is our adaptability. We have proven it over and over again to various cultures, to various countries. And when we move in, we make sure that we absorb these countries into our system, into our framework, with the full cooperation of the team members in those countries and our customers. Technology has always been at the forefront of LOLC. Across these countries, we have moved our technology. We have iPay, we have introduced iPay into Cambodia, we have OES platforms, and all the latest digital developments in financial institutions are now being shared and serviced in these countries. We are a multinational, multicultural organization offering global best practices across the organization. Our ambition is to be a global player. Growth has always been by design, not by accident.
සමහර සම්බන්ධතා තියෙනවා හැමදාම අපි ළඟින්ම ඉන්න.
අපේ ජීවිතයම දුවන්නේ ඒ සම්බන්ධතාවයන් මත.
මම එක් පුද්ගලයෙක් හැටියට අපි එක රටක් හැටියට මේ සම්බන්ධතාවයේ වැදගත්කම අත්විඳලා තියෙනවා. ජීවිතයේ වැදගත්ම මොහොතවල් වලදී
රටකට වැදගත්ම අවස්ථාවන් වලදී අපිත් රටත්
ලෝකයක් යා කරන පුරුල්තම සහ වේගවත්ම
අප වෙනුවෙන් කැපවූ
ලංකාවේ අපේ අංක 1 ජාලය ඩයලොග්.
Hey. Hi dialogue AI. Hey. Oh. ලස්සනයි. මම මේ ඩ්‍රයිව් කරන ගමන් මැරුස් මොකටද? මට කිව්වොත් බල්ලෙකුත් ඕනේ. ඕ.
Dialogue AI නෝඩම දෙයක් සිංහලෙන් නොමිලේ කරගන්න.
For over 86 years, Unilever has reached every corner of Sri Lanka, from bustling cities to quiet villages, uplifting millions of lives. With over 98% of our products made locally and one of the largest ecosystem of partners in the country, we remain committed to improving livelihoods and strengthening communities through our operations and purpose-driven brands. Our sustainability efforts focus on climate, nature, plastics, and livelihoods. At Unilever Sri Lanka, our purpose is to brighten everyday life for all.
Every Mercedes-Benz has a story, but only one begins where it should. Factory built in Mercedes-Benz AG. 0 mileage. Engineered to perfection. Tailored for Sri Lanka's tropical climate and roads. professionally handled by Demo, Sri Lanka's only authorized agent, with all duties paid and no legal risk. Backed by the Mercedes-Benz AG Global Manufacturer Warranty and preserved by Demo's technical experts who know your star the best. This isn't just another car purchase. It's a transformational journey with Demo throughout your ownership experience. Demo, the home for Mercedes-Benz.
Discover the world's top 100 ranked university pathway programs now in Sri Lanka. Enroll with SLIT Global Pathways in the fields of computing, business and engineering. Secure scholarship opportunities with guaranteed transfer options to prestigious universities in UK and Australia, University of Queensland, University of Western Australia and the University of Edinburgh, UK. Grab your opportunity. Apply now at 077 622 8989. SLIT, the future awaits you.
We now transition to a cherished tradition of our beloved motherland as we invite our distinguished guests to partake in the traditional lighting of the oil lamp. This act also symbolizes the continuous transition of our noble profession from learning to ever greater learning at a conference such as this.
Our invitation is extended to our chief guest, His Lordship, the Chief Guest, the Chief Justice, Honorable Preeti Padman Surasena.
Our guest of honor, His Lordship Justice Surya Kant, Judge of the Supreme Court of the Republic of India.
The Honorable, the Attorney General, President's Counsel, Parinder Ranasinghe Jr.
President of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka, Attorney at Law, Rajiv Amarasuriya.
Deputy President of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka, President's Counsel, Regency Arsekularatna.
Secretary of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka, Attorney at Law, Chatura Galhena.
Treasurer of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka, Attorney at Law, Pasindu Silva.
Assistant Secretary of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka, Attorney at Law, Sarinda Jayawardena.
Dean of the Faculty of Law of the University of Colombo, Professor Sampath Punchiheva.
Chairman of the National Law Conference 2025, Attorney at Law, Priyantha Alagiyavanna.
Co-Chairman of the National Law Conference 2025, Attorney at Law, Buddhika Serasinghe.
Representing the members of the committee and the delegates, Attorney at Law, Pujani D. Alvis, to kindly oblige in the traditional lighting of the oil lamp. Thank you, lady and gentlemen. Following the solemn beauty of the traditional lighting of the oil lamp, we invite everyone to please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem.
Thank you. Please be seated. We begin the official proceedings with a welcome address, for which it is my privilege to invite the dynamic driving force behind this conference, the chairman of the National Law Conference 2025, Attorney at Law, Priyantha Alagiyawanna.
Your Lordship, Honorable Chief Justice of Sri Lanka, Preeti Padman Surasena, our chief guest today, Justice Suryakant, Honorable Judge of the Supreme Court of India, the keynote speaker today, and Honorable Attorney General Parinder Ranasinghe Jr., and Honorable Judges of the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal, Mr. Rajiv Amarasuriya, President of Bar Association, Mr. Chatura Gallhena, Secretary of Bar Association, Eminent President Counsel, learned judges of the High Court, District Courts, Magistrate Courts, and distinguished invitees and guests. And ladies and gentlemen, for and on behalf of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka and the Organizing Committee of the National Law Conference of 2025, I warmly welcome all of you to this inauguration ceremony of 29th National Law Conference. Despite your busy schedule, your presence in this conference affirms the commitment of all of you towards the common goal of upholding the justice and the fair pay, as well as the desire to contribute to the betterment of this country. This year's conference is held under the theme of Building a Resilient Sri Lanka. As we know, during past few years, it is not a secret that our country has gone through many challenges. Despite these great hardships, the people of Sri Lanka have been very resilient. They deserve a better future. So, during our preliminary discussions, when we intended to have this conference, we thought of it to focus on the economy, the sustainability, and the development as a theme of this conference. Accordingly, with the said theme in mind, we have invited very distinguished judges of Superior Court, Senior President Counsel, Senior Attorney at Law, and Senior Academy from the universities, as well as the legal professionals from our great neighbor, India. We have invited them to share their wealth of knowledge and enlighten us on the legal concept, principles, as well as possible policy considerations. I am glad to state that they have readily agreed to contribute. In this conference, we have lined up 10 sessions covering various areas of law. We commence our conference tomorrow with the sessions on the law and the economy, which is aimed at enhancing the legal system of Sri Lanka to facilitate the economic development which we are looking for. Then the commercial law session will be followed, and the aim of the commercial law session is optimizing the efficiency in the commercial litigation in Sri Lanka. And thereafter, administrative and constitutional law session will seek to explore the concept of constitutional values and the responsive judicial review. So in criminal law session, the progressive and significant changes which has happened over the past few years will be explored and discussed. In land law, environmental law, and the intellectual law property session, respectively, we are focusing on the efficient method of resolving dispute involving lands and sustainable development and the role of the intellectual property and its contribution to the development. Then we have a very vital session in store on artificial intelligence and data protection, cyber security, and the digital roadmap of Sri Lanka. So we are delighted to announce that our Honorable Chief Justice has agreed to present his initiative of digitization of the Sri Lankan court during this session. His Lordship agreed to chair this session. While the session on industrial law will discuss the emerging trends in the areas of law, we will conclude our conference with an important session on the professional ethics and legal education. So we have lined up several sessions focusing our aim of the conference of building a resilient Sri Lanka. So in next 2 days, we hope to deliberate with our distinguished resource person on the prevailing law, the necessary improvement if any, and also to achieve in the greater height when it comes to the improvement of our economic development as well. Therefore, I urge of all of participants to actively participate and engage in this discussion, gain the knowledge and skill, so the legal community will be benefited from this conference. So it will help us to have a more meaningful and sustainable future for our country. Your Lordship, Honorable Chief Justice, Justice Suryakant, other distinguished speakers and participants, your presence of this historic kingdom of Kandy has helped us and will help us to create a path for better legal system, and your presence will be greatly appreciated. So I welcome, and on behalf of the Bar Association Sri Lanka and the organizing committee, all of you, let us have a fruitful conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Anagiranda, for those insightful words. We now call upon the leader of our esteemed association, the President of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka, Attorney at Law, Rajiv Amarasuri.
Secretary of the Bar Association, Mr. Chathura Galhena, Treasurer, Mr. Pasindu Silva, and Assistant Secretary, Mr. Sadinda Jayawardena, President's Council, Senior Instructing Attorneys, Professor Sivakumar, President of the Commonwealth Legal Education Association and the Office Bearers, Mr. Sandan Krishnan, the Lifetime President of the Commonwealth Law Association and the members of the association, foreign delegates, Mr. Priyanthi Alagivanna, Chairman of the National Law Conference 2025, and Mr. Buddhika Serasinghe, Co-Chairperson, conveners and members of the organizing committee, distinguished invitees, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to all of you to the National Law Conference of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka, held here in the majestic city of Kandy. As many of you in this August assembly are aware, the legal profession was formally recognized by the Royal Charter of Justice, which established the Supreme Court on the 18th of April, 1801, granted by King George III, who then controlled most parts of our beautiful island. Thereafter, with the fusion of the two branches of the profession, those are the advocates and the proctors, under the administration of Justice Law number 44 of 1973, our Bar Association was formed. Our constitution was formally adopted in November 1974, and the first meeting of the Bar Council was held on the 14th of June 1975 at the Sri Lanka Foundation Institute with Dr. H.W. Jayawardena, Queen's Counsel, being elected as our first president, and Mr. Desmond Fernando, President's Counsel, as our first and founder secretary. And today we stand proudly within our Golden Jubilee year, celebrating 50 years of BSL's service, 5 decades of defending independence, upholding justice, and shaping the national discourse. This year's National Law Conference is therefore doubly significant. It is our Golden Jubilee Conference, a moment to look back with gratitude, to look ahead with purpose, and to remind ourselves that we are custodians of a proud and living legacy. As we know, last year, that is 2024, the BSL had to face several challenges. The BSL has since learned from those experiences, and we have now emerged stronger, more united, and more purposeful. Now is the moment to appreciate what has been achieved over the last 50 years and to chart our course for the next 50 years, to ensure that the BSL remains the strongest, the most independent, and the most influential professional and civil society body in Sri Lanka, and perhaps one might venture to say in the South Asian region. It is in that proud background of heritage, of accomplishment, and of vision that we meet here in Kandy under the most fitting theme, building a resilient Sri Lanka. One may possibly argue that Sri Lanka is already a resilient nation. We have overcome insurgencies, a long civil war, a devastating tsunami, a global pandemic, and a crippling economic crisis. And yet, we continue to stand strong. Ladies and gentlemen, resilience is not the absence of hardship. It is the capacity to rise again with wisdom and strength. Today, as our country seeks to enter to the next phase of development, we as lawyers must be honest, must be objective, and self-reflective. We must look for the elephants in the room, acknowledge them, and find enduring solutions with courage and with clarity. Our duty is not merely to practice law, but to uphold the rule of law, not merely to earn a livelihood, but to protect the livelihoods, liberties, and hopes of others. I recall with clarity a delegation of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka that visited the courts of Singapore and Malaysia in 2016, nearly a decade ago. At the bilateral meetings held in both jurisdictions, we were introduced to a range of reforms that had been implemented to make access to justice more efficient, transparent, and people-friendly. It was Mr. Anand Vikramasekara, the giant from Galle, President's Council, the giant from Galle, who led that delegation. And he insightfully observed that many of the reforms proudly displayed by those two jurisdictions were in fact concepts we had already embedded in our own administration of justice law of 1973. A comprehensive report was submitted when we returned, yet 10 or 11 years later, not much of that vision is yet to be realized. It is in that context that I express my deep appreciation to His Lordship, the Chief Justice, for courageously taking up the challenge of automating and digitalizing our court system across the country. As Your Lordship and the BSL have often affirmed, the bench and the bar now share a common vision, a vision of a fully automated and a fully digitalized court system that is accessible, efficient, and affordable. Such a transformation will not only make the justice delivery faster and more transparent, but will save time and cost for all stakeholders and serve as a powerful mechanism to tackle the backlog of cases that has burdened our system for decades. The Bar Association of Sri Lanka stands firmly committed to supporting this important and vital national endeavor. However, as we look to the future with optimism, let me also offer a word of caution. In our eagerness to modernize and to clear backlogs, we must remain vigilant to the core principles of justice itself. We all know the adage, justice delayed is justice denied. But we must equally remember another, justice hurried is justice buried. Efficiency must never come at the expense of fairness. For behind every case file, there is a human story, a family, a business, a person whose very life may hinge upon that judgment. I was recently told of an incident where a litigant suffered a heart attack upon hearing that his case had been dismissed. Whether coincidence or not, it reminds us that to many, a case is not just a matter, it is their very being. So while we rightly pursue speed and efficiency, we must also ensure due and proper hearing, due assessment of the matter, and reasoned determination. Justice must not only be done, it must also seem to be done and felt to be fair. Ladies and gentlemen, let us also remind ourselves that sovereignty in this country lies in the people. The powers exercised by courts, tribunals, and institutions are derived from the sovereign people and therefore must always be exercised in their interest. In this light, I find myself in agreement with a statement recently made by the Honourable Minister of Justice that courts must be established for the convenience of the people, that is the litigants, and not merely for the convenience of lawyers and judges. That said, this does not and cannot mean that the needs of the bench and the needs of the bar can be ignored. On the contrary, the efficiency of the system depends on the well-being and functionality of all its participants. A well-centered justice system is one that respects the needs of litigants while empowering judges and lawyers to perform their duties effectively and, of course, with dignity in our great noble profession. This year's National Law Conference covers a wide and carefully curated range of topics, addressing issues that lie at the heart of our legal system and our national life. I'm deeply impressed by the caliber of participation, members of the judiciary, senior members of the bar, policymakers and academics and professionals, each bringing their unique perspective to the table. The deliberations we will have over the next 2 days will not only enrich our understanding, but will also shape the conversation on how we, as a profession, can contribute to building a resilient Sri Lanka, one grounded in justice, integrity, and innovation. I take this opportunity to record my deep appreciation to His Lordship the Chief Justice and Justice Suryakant for gracing this occasion and for sharing their insights and experience with us. We are also privileged by the presence of distinguished foreign delegates and speakers whose perspectives will add immense value to our discussions. I must in particular acknowledge the National Law Conference Committee under the able and dynamic leadership of Mr. Priyantha Alagiyawanna as chairman, Mr. Buddhika Serasinghe as co-chairman, and conveners, Mr. Pandula Banniyarachchi, Mr. Charana Kananka Gamage, Dr. Nadish Rangana De Silva, Mr. Deshani Bandara, and Mr. Emal Gunasekara, who also has a huge stake in this hotel, together with their dedicated team for bringing about an excellent conference that we expect in the next 2 days. Your commitment, perseverance, and creativity have made this conference possible, despite the economic challenges of our time. You have truly delivered a remarkable event that reflects the spirit and resilience of the bar itself. And to each of you, on behalf of the Bar Association and personally, I extend my heartfelt thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, the National Law Conference is more than a professional gathering. It is a forum of reflection and resolve, a time for the bar to take stock of where we stand and where we must go. As we celebrate our Golden Jubilee, let us remember that independence and integrity are not inherited. They are earned and they must be renewed daily. Let us use this conference to recommit ourselves, to uphold the rule of law without fear or favor, to strengthen the trust between the people and the profession, and to ensure that our work as lawyers continues to serve the greater cause of justice and, of course, importantly, nation building. If we do that, then we will not only build a resilient bar, but we will help build a resilient Sri Lanka, one that is fair, one that is inclusive, and one that is forward-looking. Thank you very much.
Thank you for those words of inspiration, Mr. Amar Surya. Before we move on to our next speaker, ladies and gentlemen, let us pause for a brief moment of artistic appreciation. Let us enjoy the grace and rhythm of our second dance performance.
Thank you to the dancers for that enthralling performance. The stage is now set for our chief guest. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and privilege, with the utmost respect, to invite His Lordship, the Chief Justice, Honorable Justice Preethipadman Surasena, to deliver his address.
His Lordship, Justice Suryakant, the senior most judge of the Indian Supreme Court, Honorable Attorney General Parinder Ranasinghe, PC, my brother judges of the Supreme Court, President, and the other judges of the Court of Appeal, the members of the judiciary, learned President's Council, senior attorneys, members of the legal fraternity, legal scholars, academics, ladies and gentlemen. The members of the legal fraternity start their work on Monday and end up on Friday. They hop on and hop off from court to court. And having worked under extremely stressful conditions, they will generally go for a couple of arbitrations in the evenings, in the afternoons. After that, being tired when they reach home, well, then there is another set of clients are waiting at your home or in chambers for consultations. You can't chase them away, so you continue to have consultation with them no matter how much you are tired. Then you realize that the dinner time has arrived only when your spouse calls you to dinner, have dinner with you. So it is in that respect that we all wait until Friday, and particularly Friday evening, to take a sigh of relief and go into relaxation. Today is also one such Friday. Yet, we elected to come here willingly, to travel to this historic city of Kandy, and to enjoy the weekend here fruitfully, hopefully to bring more productivity to our beloved profession. Ladies and gentlemen, it is in that backdrop that I take great honor and privilege to address this August Assembly at the inauguration of National Law Conference 2025. This conference stands as a beacon of our legal discourse in our nation. This is not just an academic discussion, but a celebration of 224 years of excellence of legal arguments, counter-arguments, written submissions, judgments, setting aside judgments, restoring judgments, etc., etc. I said, because it is 224 years, the moment ago, Mr. Amar Surya, President of the Bar Association, mentioned that it was in 1801 that by the Royal Charter of Justice, established Supreme Court. That is 224 years. Indeed, next year, the Supreme Court of Sri Lanka will be celebrating 225th year. Not only the legal arguments, but we are celebrating more than 151 years of excellence in legal education. It was in 1847 that the Incorporated Council of Legal Education was established. And it was that council which set up Law College in Halstop. That was 151 or 2 years ago. Those of you who participated at the event called Back to Law College last year would remember that the Law College celebrated 150 years last year. Of course, the Council of Legal Education, Incorporated Council of Legal Education Act was passed in 1900. And to date, it is on that act that the council is functioning with only one amendment, if I remember right, a few years ago. Of course, the education in universities came a little late. And that started with the College House. We all know that this is the College House in Reed Avenue. That was a house at that time. That was known as Regina Valau. It was in 1920 that the then government purchased it and set up a university college. With the enactment of Act number 20 of 1942, the University of Ceylon Act number 20 of 1942, that became a university. There was no law faculty. It was faculty of arts. So within the Faculty of Arts, in 1947, they set up a Department of Law. At that time, Sir Ivor Jennings was the Vice Chancellor, and he willingly started lecturing on constitutional law. Then Justice Suits QC willingly took over to be the head of the law department. Dr. Nadaraja was the only permanent lecturer, and Dr. H.W. Thambaya was a BC practitioner, but he consented to serve as a visiting lecturer. In 1951, Justice Suits QC passed away, and Dr. Nadaraja took over as the Department of Law, head of the Department of Law, and thereafter, Dr. H.W. Thambaya became a Commissioner of Assize and later on a Judge of the Supreme Court. So that is the history of our education. Let me go back to 1962 in order to connect this conference up to the past. In 1962, University of Singapore held a regional conference on legal education. Many legal scholars from the area, that is the Asian countries, participated. In fact, India was represented by two academics, Dr. Anandji, the then Dean Faculty of Law, Banaras, Hindu University of Varanasi, and also the second person was Professor L.R. Sivasubramaniam, Dean Faculty of Law, University of Delhi. University of Ceylon was represented by Dr. Nadaraja, Professor Nadaraja, in that regional conference on legal education in 1962. Professor Nadaraja opened his speech in this way, I quote, "I should like to begin by expressing my thanks on behalf of the University of Ceylon for the opportunity of participating in this regional conference on legal education. I believe this is the first time that such a conference of persons interested in legal education in the Asian countries has been held. Many of the problems which we face in this part of the world are common to our countries, and though ultimately each country must work out its own solutions, it can undoubtedly profit from the successes and mistakes of the others. In Western countries, the trend today is to go away from legal parochialism, or what Dean Roscoe Pound has called Main Streetism, and towards uniformity of legal solutions in many fields. It is well worth attempting to secure kind of cooperation between countries in the Asian areas of the world as well." Close quotes. Since Professor Nadaraja in 1962 advocated this theory of possibility of uniformity, I wonder whether we have achieved. Today is after 50 years, a half a century. I'm not sure whether we have achieved that, but I will leave it to the audience. Let me now come back to the Kandy National Law Conference. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a conference which brings together distinguished jurists, legal scholars, policymakers, practitioners, judges from across the country. They have come here not to teach each other what the law is. They have come here to discuss, brainstorm, and possibly conclude what the law ought to be in 2025. That you can see from the theme that the Bar Association has adopted, the Building Resilient Sri Lanka. Ladies and gentlemen, I am sure this conference will be a breeding ground for new thoughts, a platform from where the rule of law of the country will be boosted, and a venue from where the participants will take away new thoughts, new skills, which are necessary for the survival in our profession. Let me also say briefly about something which you are going to do in the next 2 weeks, two days. Many of you will present papers here. And that is, I am sure, after conducting scientific research. First, you have identified the topic that needs further investigation. Then you have studied the existing material, and as a result, you know thoroughly the law pertaining to that subject. Then you have further studied, collected more data, analyzed the collected data, and come to conclusion. This is the forum where you report your findings. Now, in addition to the speaker, there are many others. There we see how a dedicated work of one person will help all the others in the professional development. And that is what a conference of this nature would achieve. A scientific research conducted in a structured process will always bring insightful and transparent results. It is only then that the audience will intently listen to your reporting. It is only then that the audience will be thinking to accept that as a conclusion of and the solution for the given problem. As far as the participants concerned, I urge participants to intently listen to whatever being discussed. Contribute as far as possible. Ask questions. If possible, challenge. If you think that should be challenged, by all means challenge. Then take away some thought and collected material home when you leave. If you do not actively participate, it is difficult to take something home. For those of us in the judiciary, day in and day out, judges do researches and report their findings. That research paper is called the judgment. So those judgments will be discussed in forum, in this type of fora. They will be compared with international standards. Their implications will be discussed. And that helps the administration of justice to remain transparent and accountable to public. And these conferences of this nature will help shape the shape of the judgments, and also the participation and discussion by the practitioners, judges, the academics will bridge the gap between theory and practice also. In conclusion, let me commend the Bar Association of Sri Lanka to organize a national law conference from which platform we can achieve all what I have said and go back with new skill and resume our work from Monday with renewed skills, with rejuvenated skills. And with that note, let me conclude. Thank you very much for listening. I wish all the success for the conference.
Thank you, Your Lordship, for that profound address. The theme of this conference promises to be greatly enriched by your vision. We now turn to a highly anticipated moment in our program. It is our distinct honor to introduce our keynote speaker, a jurist of international repute.
Justice Surya Kant, born in 1962, began his legal career in 1984, later specializing in constitutional, service and civil matters at the Punjab and Haryana High Court. Demonstrating early distinction, he was designated a senior advocate and appointed the youngest Advocate General of Haryana on July 7th in the year 2000. He was elevated as a judge of the Punjab and Haryana High Court in 2004, where he later served 2 terms on the governing body of the National Legal Services Authority. Remarkably, he achieved first class first in his master's degree in law in the year 2011, whilst still serving on the bench.
Justice Kant's ascent continued with his appointment as Chief Justice of the Himachal Pradesh High Court in October 2018. He was then elevated as a judge of the Supreme Court of India on 24th May 2019. Throughout his 4-decade-long career, Justice Surya Kant has authored numerous path-breaking judgments, introducing novel interpretations on crucial issues, including citizenship law concerning Assam immigrants and safeguarding the rights of domestic workers. Currently, he serves as the Executive Chairman of the National Legal Services Authority. His career is defined by a harmonious blend of judicial service, academic excellence, and an unwavering commitment to the rule of law.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome His Lordship Justice Surya Kant, Judge of the Supreme Court of the Republic of India, to deliver his keynote address.
His Lordship, Honorable Mr. Justice Padman Sursena, Honorable the Chief Justice of Republic of Sri Lanka, Sri Mr. Parind Ranasinghe, Learned Attorney General for the Republic of Sri Lanka, my distinguished brother judges of the Supreme Court of Republic of Sri Lanka, Honorable the President and other judges of the Court of Appeal, Mr. Rajiv Amar Surya, President of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka, other office bearers and members of the Bar Association of the Republic of Sri Lanka, Mr. Priyantha Aligiavana, Chairman of the National Law Conference, Mr. Buddhika, his co-chairman, senior advocates and other distinguished members of the Sri Lankan Bar Association, Professor Shivkumar, President of the Commonwealth Legal Education Association, Mr. Santhan Krishnan, Live President of the Commonwealth Lawyers Association, representatives of different neighboring countries, ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to all of you. It is my proud privilege to address this august gathering at the inauguration of the 29th National Law Conference in this beautiful city of Kandy. I am thankful to the Bar Association of Sri Lanka for its gracious invite and extend my heartfelt congratulations for the exemplary organization of this event. Kandy, as we know, is a place where tradition and transformation have long coexisted in harmony. Home to Sri Dalada Maligawa, the sacred temple of the tooth relic, it represents the timeless continuity of wisdom and faith, even as it has adapted to the changing needs of modernity. It seems particularly fitting that we gather here to discuss how technology is not merely a tool, but a partner, a force multiplier, and at times a guide in the delivery of justice. I am thankful personally to Honorable the Chief Justice for giving very eloquently the history of how the Sri Lankan judicial system has developed during last 224 years and how the academia, bench and bar all together have contributed to the jurisprudential growth. I am equally thankful for the Honorable Chief Justice in highlighting the importance of this conference and cautioning all the stakeholders, the participants, the domain experts, the importance of the outcome of this conference. It is in this backdrop that I wish to share my views with respect to the importance of technology in the matter of administration of justice delivery system. Change, as all we know, is the law of nature. Just as Kandy preserves its rich cultural heritage while welcoming the new, similarly, the noble vocation that we profess must learn to balance continuity with divergence, that is, to adopt technology without losing the human touch that defines our calling. Let me just begin with the inevitability of transformation. Until a few years ago, young advocates would lament that much of their day was consumed by repetitive tasks like drafting routine pleadings, reformatting documents, searching for precedent, and redrafting standard clauses. If only they had a benign, invisible assistant who would take care of these chores, they could spend their time thinking and strategizing. Today, that assistant is no longer purely a figment of imagination. In many jurisdictions, parts of it already exist in the form of artificial intelligence, powered systems, document automation engines, analytical platforms, and AI-based legal assistance. It is not hyperbole to say that the legal profession globally is undergoing a metamorphosis in the sense that technology is reshaping how legal work is conceived, how lawyers and judges interact with information, and most importantly, how access to justice is delivered to citizens. Our challenge is to embrace this transformation wisely, to harness the benefits while safeguarding the values that define our profession, namely fairness, due process, transparency, human dignity, and accountability. Let's now appreciate how technology is reshaping legal work and how the global canvas is emerging. What began as a modest digitization of paperwork has now evolved into a reimagining of how legal work is formulated, executed, and delivered. From the automation of filings to the use of artificial intelligence in research and analytics, technology today permeates every layer of legal functioning. Yet, this change is not about replacing human judgment. It is about amplifying its reach, precision, and purpose. So, for example, for judiciary and court administration, technology has become a force multiplier. Case management systems, electronic registers, and digital filing platforms have brought about an unprecedented degree of transparency and efficiency. The once paper-heavy corridors of the judicial offices are now being replaced by dashboards that track filing, listings, and pendency in real time. Judicial officers can now access case histories, precedents, and hearing transcripts at a glance, enabling faster and more informed decision making. Our courts in India have introduced virtual hearings, e-filing, and online dispute resolution mechanisms, which has extended the reach of justice far beyond traditional boundaries, ensuring that access to courts is no longer confined by geography or other circumstances. Similarly, for lawyers, both senior and junior alike, this technological wave has been both a challenge and an opportunity. Automation and legal analytics have freed practitioners from repetitive or clerical work, allowing them to focus on strategy, judgment, and client engagement. Junior lawyers now have access to advanced legal databases, artificial assisted research tools, and digital libraries that earlier generations could scarcely even imagine are there to help. Senior practitioners too can harness technology to manage teams and coordinate across jurisdictions. In smaller towns and rural areas, advocates who once faced logistical disadvantages now operate on a level playing field with their metropolitan counterparts, a quiet but profound step toward the democratization of legal practice. And when we talk of the advantage of technology with reference to the law students, I would submit to the young scholars that technology has become an extraordinary enabler of learning. Online repositories, virtual internship, live streaming of court proceedings, and global lecture platforms have made legal education more interactive, inclusive, and globally connected. At the heart of this change lies trust. The adoption of legal artificial intelligence must rest upon systems that are accurate, unbiased, auditable, and explainable. Judges, lawyers, students, and litigants must feel assured that technology is a tool of transparency, not opacity, and it is meant to aid justice, not an arbiter of it. Without trust, no innovation, however sophisticated it may be, can earn legitimacy. The next generation of lawyers in India is thus growing up not only with greater access to knowledge, but also with a deeper appreciation of the interdisciplinary and international dimensions of law. When I talk of technology as an aid for the consumer of justice, I may say that the consumer of justice, the citizens themselves, are advantaged because the technology has opened doors that were once tightly shut. Online grievance portals, virtual lok adalats, and digital legal aid services have brought the justice system within reach of the common man, often for the first time. Citizens no longer need to navigate the physical and procedural complexities of the courts alone. Now, they can track case progress online, access legal information, and even settle disputes through digital mediation. In this, technology has become the greater equalizer, bridging the gap between the law and the lives it is meant to serve. Amid of these sweeping transformations, we must be reminded that while data may inform decisions, it must never dictate them. And therefore, there are some perils with these promises which I wish to highlight. The prospectus before us are undoubtedly exciting, but we must proceed with humility and caution. This evolution carries significant challenges that must be addressed if technology is to be the friend of justice truly. Let us discuss some of the perils and possible solutions. The first concern which normally I express is digital literacy and unequal adoption. Not all the lawyers or judges are equally comfortable with the usage of new technologies, particularly in regions where infrastructure or training is limited. This digital divide risks exacerbating inequalities. Some legal actors may leap ahead, while many may be left behind. Therefore, capacity building, training programs, continuing legal education in legal technology, peer networks, and public-private partnerships are vital. We must democratize access to legal technology, not let it become the privilege of the few. The second concern is data security, confidentiality, and privacy. Lawyers deal in trust, and therefore the confidentiality, privilege, data integrity, and cyber security of their clients must remain sacrosanct. As legal professionals, they entrust more of their workflows to digital systems. Thus, the threat of hacking, data leaks, or misuse becomes very real. It is incumbent upon us and our legal institutions to demand the highest standards of security. The third challenge is of accuracy, bias, hallucination, and oversight. Also, the AI tools are not infallible. They can generate inaccuracy, fabricated or incorrect information, or reflect latent biases of their training data. In legal contexts, an error can have dire consequences. Experts have therefore warned that we should be more careful about trusting artificial intelligence in tasks that require judgment, creativity, or prediction, because this is where people often overestimate what AI can do. Hence, human oversight is non-negotiable. The lawyers or judges must always remain the final arbiter, checking and validating the AI output. My other concern is institutional inertia, mindset resistance, and trust. Perhaps the greatest barrier is psychological and institutional. Law is conservative by nature. Legal professionals are trained to be cautious, risk-averse, and methodical. Some may see technology as a threat to livelihood, seniority, or even tradition. The fear that artificial intelligence will replace us still lingers, though most evidence does suggest augmentation, not obsolescence. To overcome this, we need leaders both in the judiciary and the bar who are tech savvy, who lead by example, who adopt transparency, and who build confidence. Therefore, I recommend a collaborative approach of global vision and how, speaking on behalf of my own country, that how India and Sri Lanka, they can become a core partner in this technological infusion of justice delivery system. This distinguished gathering offers a prime opportunity for collaborative thinking. India and Sri Lanka share a common legal heritage, vibrant legal cultures, and a shared aspiration for access to justice. A few such synergic avenues could be: my suggestion is to have an interjurisdictional learning and benchmarking. Each jurisdiction is at a different stage in legal tech maturity. Indian courts have successfully experimented with e-filing, e-courts, video hearing, and legal aid portals, ushering in a new era of accessibility and transparency. Building upon these foundations, the judiciary has also launched live streaming of court proceedings, beginning with the Supreme Court and several high courts, thereby opening the doors of justice to public view and strengthening judicial accountability. The creation of the Electronic Supreme Court Reports portal, having translation of judgments in 13 languages, providing free access to digitized judgments, and the adoption of artificial assisted transcription and translation tools have further streamlined judicial functioning, together reflecting a transformative shift towards a more transparent, efficient, and citizen-centric justice delivery system. Sri Lanka too is making significant strides in digital court processes. I believe through initiatives like the introduction of e-courts project, the country has integrated case management across all courthouses, from magistrates' courts up to the Supreme Court, enabling real-time access to case information, digital filing, and online issuance of certified copies. India is committed to offering its experience, resources, and goodwill in service of Sri Lanka's continued growth and institutional advancement, reaffirming our shared commitment to progress through partnership and mutual trust. Sharing best practices, case studies, regulatory models, and governance frameworks help us leapfrog mistakes. A cross-jurisdictional legal tech consortium could be envisioned, comprising of a network of judges, practitioners, academics, and technologists across South Asia and beyond, to exchange insights, standards, interoperable models, open source tools, and joint capacity building initiatives. The second suggestion is to have a joint development of open legal tools. Many of our shared challenges, including rural access, low-cost legal aid, and multilingual support, are an opportunity for us to collaborate. There is scope for joint development of open source legal assistance tools, shared databases, AI models calibrated for local statutes, or translation engines that bridge legal languages. For instance, a legal triage chatbot with multilingual ability, it can be like in 3 different languages, might be built collaboratively across Sri Lanka, India, and other neighboring countries. Our shared investments in legal analytics infrastructure could reduce duplication and cost factor as well. The next, my suggestion is educating the next generation curriculum, fellowships, and exchange. We must embed legal technology more deeply in the curriculum. Law schools and judicial academies should incorporate courses in data science, legal information, computational law, AI ethics, and design thinking, and so many other related subjects. We could also launch judicial and advocate exchange programs focusing on legal tech innovation so that our legal minds see cross-border examples and build networks. The next my suggestion will be harmonizing regulatory and ethical standards. Because technology and especially the artificial intelligence often transcends national borders, our regulatory responses must be coordinated. We should explore common principles of legal AI ethics, interoperability of standards, and mutual recognition of digital signatures or e-court procedures in cross-border litigation and arbitration. We should convene regional working groups, perhaps under SARC or via law associations, to propose harmonized frameworks. In fact, this conference being organized by the Sri Lankan Bar is itself a best example that how we can have some common platforms to exchange these ideas. Having said that, I would also say that we must remember that technology is only a means to an end, and that end is justice for all. The true test of this digital evolution will not be in how efficiently we automate processes, but in how inclusively we reach out to secure justice. If technology enables a villager to file a plea without traveling miles, if it ensures that a poor litigant is heard without delay, and if it helps a court communicate its reasoning in a language that people understand, then it has truly served its purpose. This is not a one-time shift. It's a journey of stewardship. New models will emerge, systems will evolve, and challenges will multiply. Our duty is to remain learners, open, adaptive, reflective, and ready to embrace what aids in the pursuit of justice and discard what does not. For at the end of the day, technology may illuminate the path, but it is humanity that must lead its way. As we move forward, certain underlying themes must remain central to our discourse. Technology is a powerful ally, but justice will always be a profoundly human enterprise. The essence of our calling lies not in data or AI, but in consensus and compassion. The judge's discernment, the advocate's reasoning, the litigant's dignity, and the empathy that animates every fair trial. These are the living fibers of justice that no machine can replicate. Artificial intelligence may assist in researching authorities, generating drafts, or highlighting inconsistencies, but it cannot perceive the tremor in a witness voice, the anguish behind a petition, or the moral weight of a decision. Let us be crystal clear. We are not replacing the lawyers or the judge. We are simply augmenting their reach and refining their capacity to serve. Let technology be the guide and the human govern. In conclusion, standing here in Kandy, among the eminent colleagues from Sri Lanka, led by Honorable the Chief Justice, and beyond, I am heartened by our shared resolve to engage with this vital theme. The road ahead demands a robust resolve to stay committed to our pious goals and maintain our ethical standards. We stand at a decisive moment. We can resist technology and risk stagnation, or we can shape and guide it, embedding our legal and ethical values within its design so that it strengthens, not supplants, the justice. Let this 29th National Law Conference mark a collective resolve to harness technology in the service of fairness, transparency, and human dignity. May the dialogue we begin here grow into enduring collaborations, stronger institutions, and above all, a justice system that is more accessible, humane, and inclusive for all. Thank you. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity to share my views with all of you. Thank you.
A truly compelling address that has set the intellectual tone for the days ahead.
Resonating the words of Justice Surya Kant, I recall the words recently mentioned by Master of the Rolls in England and Wales, Sir Geoffrey Voss, who compared AI to a chainsaw. Put to good use, it can be very productive, but abused, it can be irreversibly destructive. Thank you very much, Justice Surya Kant, for those very invigorating, inspiring, and extremely informative words that set the tone for this conference and its deliberations. To present a token of appreciation to our guest of honor, I have the pleasure of inviting the President of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka, Attorney at Law Rajiv Amarasuriya, accompanied by the Secretary of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka, Attorney at Law Chatura Galhena, to kindly oblige. I beg your pardon. Mr. Galhena, if you will kindly. The profound appreciation of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka to our guest of honor, Justice Surya Kant. Thank you, Mr. Amarasuriya. Thank you, Mr. Galhena. Justice Kant, if you will kindly remain on stage, sir, for one more minute, please.
I now invite the National Law Conference Committee Chair, Mr. Priyantha Alagiyavanna, and the Co-Chair, Mr. Buddhika Serasinghe, to present a token from the Conference Committee to our guest of honor, Justice Surya Kant.
The sincere gratitude of the conference committee and all its delegates being presented to our guest of honor. Thank you very much, Mr. Alagiyavanna and Mr. Serasinghe, for so kindly obliging. To mark the culmination of our formal program, we present the third dance performance. We hope you enjoy it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the official segment of this evening draws to a close. We now invite the co-chairman of the National Law Conference, Attorney at Law, Buddhika Sarasingha, to offer the vote of thanks.
Your Lordships, Chief Justice Preeti Padman Surasena, our Chief Guest, Justice Surya Kant, Judge of the Supreme Court of India, Honorable Judges of the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal, distinguished members of the Judiciary, Honorable Attorney General, Parindaran Singh Jr., President Council, Mr. Rajiv Amarasuriya, President of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka, and Chatura Galhena, Secretary of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka, Learned President's Council, Senior Instructing Attorneys, and learned members of the Bar, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is with deep humility and immense gratitude that I rise up this evening to deliver to the word of thanks on behalf of the organizing committee of the National Law Conference Committee 2025. We have gathered here in the majestic city of Kandy, a city steeped in history, culture, and spiritual reverence, which is surrounded by misty hills and the gentle serenity of the Mahavali River. Kandy reminds us of the timeless value of tradition, dignity, ideals that resonate deeply in the legal profession. We would not have asked for a more appropriate setting for this prestigious conference than this. First and foremost, we extend our heartfelt thanks to His Lordship, the Chief Justice, for gracing this occasion with his distinguished presence and for delivering an address that has truly inspired us. Your Lordship's word reinforce our shared commitment to justice, integrity, and the rule of law. Similarly, we are deeply honored by the presence of our chief guest, the Honorable Justice Surya Kant, Judge of the Supreme Court of India. Sir, there is no doubt that your gracious acceptance of our invitation, your warm spirit, and your thought-provoking keynote address have added great stature to this gathering. We are truly grateful and privileged to have you here, sir. Our sincere appreciation is also extended to Mr. Rajiv Amarasuriya, President of the Bar Association, and the Management Committee, including Secretary of Mr. Chatura Galhena, Secretary of the Bar Association, and the Treasurer, including all the management committee, for their unwavering guidance and leadership, and to Mr. Priyanta Lagiyavanna, Chairman of the National Law Conference 2025, whose dedication and tireless effort have been instrumental to bringing this event to life. Our generous sponsors and partners, we really appreciate your standing with us throughout this event. Your support has indeed commendable making in this event success. We also take this opportunity to thank the organizing committee the technical and the hospitality teams, including the hotel management, the main role handled by the Emal Gunsekara and their teams, and the event manager, Mr. Amri, and the performers and everyone who work behind the scene. Your commitment and attention to every detail have brought color, grace, and glamour to this event. All your endeavors are deeply appreciated. Last but not least, we would like to extend our sincere gratitude to all our participants who have traveled from across the island. Without your presence, this forum wouldn't have been a success. We trust the days ahead will abundantly be filled with live dialogue and renewed inspiration. Let this conference not only be a space for learning, but also of reflection. May we also recommit ourselves to the noble purpose of our profession. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for joining us for this memorable evening. Thank you. Have a pleasant evening, and we are expecting have a pleasant conference. Thank you.
Thank you for those words of appreciation, Mr. Ser Singha. The inauguration ceremony now stands formally concluded.
We invite you to join us for cocktails followed by dinner at the Far Pavilion, where we can continue our discussions in a more relaxed and possibly a more spirited atmosphere.
We wish you a most productive and engaging conference.
Thank you and good night.